Alaska Governor Sarah Palin is fighting mad. She's letting David Letterman have it, and we're getting a ton of your emails and calls taking sides in this back and forth between David Letterman and Sarah Palin. Now, it started when Letterman joked on his radio show, some pretty raunchy jokes about Sarah Palin and her daughter. Most offensive was that her young daughter was going to get knocked up by Yankee third baseman Alex Rodriguez in the 7th inning of a game at Yankee Stadium. And a note here, it was Palin's 14-year-old daughter, Willow, who was with the governor at the game. So here's Sarah Palin this morning on NBC's Today Show.
He doesn't have to apologize to me. I would like to see him apologize to young women across the country for contributing to that kind of that thread that is throughout our culture that makes it sound like it's okay to talk about young girls in that way, where it's kind of okay, accepted, and funny to talk about statutory rape. It's not cool, it's not funny.
All right, so now some women's groups are coming out backing Palin. What do you think? Letterman says the joke was really about Palin's 18-year-old daughter, who's an unwed mom. Does that even make a difference? Call in, 1-877-TEL-HLN is the number. Join me now to talk about this. Stephanie Miller, liberal radio talk show host of The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome back, Stephanie. Also welcome back Wendy Wright, president of Concerned Women for America, conservative Christian group. And again, we're taking your calls, 1-877-TEL-HLN. All right, Stephanie, shouldn't all women be upset? Letterman, he's got an axe to grind against the Palins, and he's basically calling Sarah and her young daughter a slut. Shouldn't all women be offended?
Oh, Mike, first of all, he did not call them a slut. And I think, secondly, you know who put the 14-year-old in the headlines are the Palins. Nobody in their right mind thought David Letterman was making a joke about the 14-year-old. Sadly, Bristol Palin, the 18-year-old, is the one that they put into the public spotlight at the Republican National Convention when she was an unwed teenage mother. You know, and this comes from a party that's often preaches family values to everybody else. So I'm sorry, but this became part of the, everything behind the campaign that people were talking about. So David Letterman has apologized. They're the ones that keep dragging this through the media. There was no outcry when he first did the joke because nobody thought it was about the 14-year-old.
Well, let's say it was about the 18-year-old. So what's the imagery there, Stephanie? That Bristol Palin is some sex fiend who is going to go spread her legs in the Yankee dugout for Alex Rodriguez? That's okay?
Wow, you're making it a lot dirtier than David Letterman
That's what Letterman's
did.
saying, that she's going to get knocked up in the 7th inning. That's how you get knocked up, right?
Well, you know, my point is he apologized. He said it was in good taste, no. But, you know, that's different than trying to imply that you're not going to bring your 14-year-old to David Letterman because he might rape her. I mean, that was over the line as well. Okay,
let's bring in Wendy Wright in on this. Again, I'm a Letterman fan. I just think he went over the edge here, and I think as we continue to explore this, I think women should be offended. Wendy, your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, it really reflects an ugliness inside David Letterman that he thinks it's funny to treat both a woman, Sarah Palin, and teenager, whether 14 or 18, whichever daughter he claims to be talking about, to sexually exploit them. It really reveals kind of an ugliness in him. But, you know, I got to say, Sarah Palin's response is very classy and smart. First, she was able to use it to show that this is not appropriate behavior. This is not appropriate to laugh at, as both the Clintons and the Obamas said, hands off the kids. It's never appropriate to make fun of politicians' kids. But then she also was able to turn it around and make David Letterman the butt of a joke, saying that Willow should be wise. It would be wise to keep teenagers away from David Letterman. That was a smart move on her part.
Okay, I'll get a couple of calls in. We'll get Stephanie back in on the conversation as well. Let's go to the phones. Gigi in Vermont. Hey, Gigi. What do you think here?
Hi, Mike.
Hey.
First of all, I love your show.
Thanks.
Thank you for letting me on. I think David Letterman is full of baloney. He knew exactly who he was talking about, and I don't think it's fair. I think that they've made Sarah Palin a scapegoat, and every politician that ran for everything last year, they all put their children on the stage. Every single one of them. So I would like to see Mr. Letterman make a joke about Mr. Obama's children.
Okay, well, we got to take a quick break. Gigi, thanks for the call. More of your calls coming up. We'll continue the conversation. Palin versus Letterman. Side are you taking? Call in, 1-877-TEL-HLN.
One awkward moment, though, during the game. Maybe you heard about it. Maybe you saw it on one of the highlight reels. One awkward moment for Sarah Palin at the Yankee game. During the 7th inning, her daughter was knocked up by Alex Rodriguez. Number 2, bought makeup at Bloomingdale's to update her slutty flight attendant look. Had a wonderful time. The toughest part of her visit was keeping Elliot Spitzer away from her daughter. That was the hard part.
All right, there are the jokes in question delivered by David Letterman earlier this week. We have our experts standing by. We're taking your calls and emails. I want to get an email in here. This is a person who disagrees with me. He says, this is Bridger in Charlotte writing, Mike, relax. It's a late-night comedy show. Besides, Palin is way too uptight to laugh at herself. Remember, the truth only hurts if it's the truth. Maybe the joke hits a little too close to home. Seriously, trying to get a couple laughs in even in the midst of an email. Seriously, there are more important issues to worry about. Again, that's Bridger in Charlotte. Let's hit the phones. Joe in Nebraska. Joe, your thoughts?
Hey, I'm about as left-leaning and liberal as they come. If you cut me, I bleed pink. I may not agree with everything about Miss Palin, Governor Palin's politics, but I like her as a person. She resonates with so many of the people I know and love. I thought Letterman's comments about her were definitely out of line and offensive to women. Like I said, so many people I care about happen to be a Republican and happen to like Sarah Palin, and I liked her too. I didn't agree with her, but hitting at your family, she should come out swinging.
Okay. Stephanie Miller's radio show. What about that? Why does it have... there just seems to be a venom and a nastiness coming at Sarah Palin from David Letterman. As the caller said, disagrees with her politics. Why can't we just have that civil discourse, and why does it have to get mean-spirited?
Well, first of all, Mike, he apologized. But the point is, this is someone, they put her in the public eye, and she's been all over television, so she is a public figure as well.
You're talking about Sarah or Bristol or Willow? I'm
talking about Bristol. I'm talking about Bristol, and I disagree with what Wendy said. If you think that's a good joke, Wendy, that Sarah Palin said I wouldn't want Willow around David Letterman, so because someone told an off-color joke, that's to say he's a child rapist? That's okay. You think that's funny to call David Letterman a child rapist?
Yeah, actually, you need to listen to the interview. Sarah Palin explained that and said it would be wise to keep Willow away because Willow may lash out at him.
Okay, so let's...
you said she was trying to make a joke, and I don't think that's funny.
Well, let me follow up on why do you think Bristol Palin is fair game, Stephanie, when she's an 18-year-old kid, and her message, I believe, you see it on the cover of People magazine, is, hey, I'm a teen mom, it's not an easy life, and if you don't want to follow my lead, remain abstinent. Is that a message?
Yeah, Mike, but my point is they used her as a prop in the campaign. She's been out there talking about it. Who I also fault, by the way, are David Letterman's producers or writers. They should have known that was not the Bristol,
right.
The Palin daughter that was there.
Yeah,
so I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's an excellent
but I don't
point.
think he really, you can't tell me that anybody really thinks he thought he was making a joke about a 14-year-old, because he didn't. Yeah,
and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I personally think Bristol as well should be off limits. I think the kids should be off limits really until they're in their mid-20s or so. But, guys, we got to run. Stephanie, good to have you back. Wendy, you as well. And thank you, the viewers, for emails and phone calls. And it would be a spirited discussion, as it was. Hey, let's change the mood a little bit. Very proud.